To create new content, you scroll down to the bottom of a module and click this Add an Activity or Resource button. And that will bring up this window where you can add anything that Moodle has to offer. We don't use most of these. We've experimented with a few. A lot of them just aren't as applicable outside of an academic environment. This is the forum that we use, so if you're ever creating a new discussion forum, that's where you'll go. And then all the way down here near the bottom is where you'll find page under resources, and this is the majority of what we use. So if you click there, and it'll give you a nice little description of what the object is, and then click add, and then this will take just a second. Okay, so it brings up a new blank piece of content area page that you can populate. So we'll just do something kind of generic here. You can give it a name, and then write something or embed a video or whatever. Let's quickly go into the video embed process because that happens frequently. If you go straight to where a video is hosted, and let's just pull up a video I was just listening to, and if I wanted to embed this video on the website, you can go down here to share and then embed and click show more, and that expands more of the options that you can play with. And then I actually want to do a custom size because I know that for our website the ideal pixel dimensions are 730 by 411, and if you type in 730 and then hit tab, it will automatically populate with 411, and then you can see up here in our little code sample that the iframe width has now been changed to 730 by 411. So now that I have my dimensions set up the way I want, I can, and I'm going to uncheck this because we actually don't like to suggest videos when the videos are over. I can go in here and hit Command A and then Command C to select everything and then copy it. And then I go back to the page I want to edit, and if I open up my options and then go into the HTML editor, I can see my paragraph here. I don't know why this little bit of extra code is there, so I'm going to get rid of it. And then if I go down here and hit paste, Command V, I get my little embed code here from YouTube. So it's got the frame width and it's got the URL and a few other little details. And then if I undo this, then my video shows up. And if I click now Save and Display, this is a sample of what the page will look like. And it's actually a little bit narrow because with a recent update we did, this add block shows up over on the side. So just to give you a better sense, I'm going to go down here and give you a participant view. So this is what the page would look like to a participant if I were to actually make this live and reveal it to participants. Just the very, very most basic steps of creating content. So now if I go back to the module I'm working on, I'm still a participant. Let's return to my normal role. Okay, so now if I go down here, my new piece of content shows up all the way down here at the bottom. Oh, and editing got turned off because I was a participant for a moment. So we'll turn editing on, and then we'll scroll down again. Okay, so now here's my content. The square is wrong because I forgot to change the settings. If you want to move where it shows up on the page, you can click and hold on the little arrow, and then you can drag and drop. So if I wanted to add this as like a 12th piece of content for this module, I can just drop it there, and now my new little piece of content shows up here, and I could go back in and make it visible, or move it around, or edit the settings to fix the box or what have you. You can also change just the title of the content by clicking this little pencil symbol next to the name, and it pulls up a really simple text editor here. So if I wanted the capital C, and then once I'm done, if I hit enter, it will automatically change those for me. So I don't need to keep this, so I'm going to delete it. Just hit yes. And yeah, those are the basics of creating the regular content that we release for folks. Other useful things are the labels. So if I go into one of these sneaky space filler areas and edit settings here, and then if I go into the HTML, you can see that we've got some specific code that you can put in here to give it a certain size, margin, and then the clear color. So what I'll oftentimes do is just go into one of the invisible labels, because I can never remember all of this code, and just copy and paste into a new one if I want to create those space givers. And that's how you can set those up. Or, as I mentioned earlier, a really nice, easy trick is you could just go in here and duplicate this. If you wanted to, add extra space beneath this title or something, you could just go to one of the space labels and duplicate it, and then here we'll just see what that looks like. It oftentimes takes a second. So the page will load very slowly, and now I have two of them. And the process for the labels that show up in the flow of content here is pretty much identical, but when you go in here, the code is obviously different because we have text in there. All right. So one last thing I'll go over that can be useful with content is that we'll oftentimes link to things that are important up here in the announcements section. Right now we have a live community gathering recording, and we have the 5-word story exercise. Now if I clicked here, it would take me to the exercise that's displayed down below, but this live community gathering recording only shows up here. If I click on it, this looks like a page. So this is where that general section that was mentioned in a previous video comes into play. So if I go back, clicking here to the main page and scroll all the way down, I'll close this to make it easier in here, and look around a little bit. Here is that live community gathering recording. But we don't want to show it kind of with the little page symbol and in this way. So if I click here, it takes me to exactly the same place, but the page feature itself is hidden, and it's just a link that we embed up here. And this is actually another one of those label objects, kind of like the spaces or the headings within the content. So all of this gets easier with practice and makes more sense, but those are the basics of how you'll be presenting, editing, displaying, and creating content for the website.